It's another episode on Real Talk with Data, and you're welcome to today's episode. You asked for a question the last time, and I said I was going to discuss about it, and here I am talking right about it. The pressure that comes along with being married. After I am worried about your single life have found their ways, right? They have show that, okay, they put pressure on you, and then you're finally settling down. They will leave you to your cross, Shebi. Is that not what usually happens, right? They would not enlighten you. In fact, they didn't enlighten you about the cons. There are pros, right? But they didn't enlighten you about the cons. Then you get inside it and you start seeing some things that you didn't prepare for. Honestly, as much as I know marriage is not a one-size-fits-all, I strongly believe that we were kind of, at least psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually prepared for it. The divorce rate that we see increasing on a daily basis would actually be decreasing, right? Okay, number one, pressure of being married. Like, seriously. Pressure no one now. Marriage not any pressure to a lot of, The fact that you now know that you're stuck with this person for life, has it ever occurred to you that just after you got married, after you danced and stuff like that, and then you get to marry like, shake people to the Mrs. Niye or to the Mr. So now you now have responsibility of taking care of somebody apart from yourself. That's another pressure in itself. It's a different kind of pressure because now you're committed and you're married to make it work. But when you now finally want to sleep, some people actually like to sleep on the whole bed. These are the very little pressure that I'm talking about, right? So just start from the very, small one. And then they want to sleep on the bed, someone want to sleep diagonally, someone want to sleep horizontally, and then they now find out that they have to start sharing bed. That in itself is another kind of pressure because when they now want to do the you know what I'm saying now, when they want to get freaky, they know daddy egbewa, mommy egbewa, that kind of thing, that's another pressure. And if you are coming from a home where you're used to, seeing your parents, they sleep in the same bed and all that, and then you're not coming to a marriage, and then the guy is saying, auntie, stay in your own bed, or when it's time we'll go they see, that kind of thing. It's kind of, gives you another kind of impression, and it just throws you off balance. How about the financial pressure? If you hear a married guy sometimes emotional, you know why? Because that saying that we say that your money is our money, that thing actually, as much as the guys debunk it or we want to debunk it and all that, somehow it's kind of true. It's kind of true because the guy actually wants to just be responsible for everything. He wants to be responsible for stuffs in the house. He wants to be responsible for you. He wants to take care of you. God help this guy if there's, what it is now with light. He needs to get the fuel, or sometimes he has to get an inverter. He practically does everything, because he's now married to somebody. So sometimes these guys, the pressure on them as in, go easy, rara. The pressure of being married in itself is something different. They sometimes prepare for it, but it's not as much as they would have loved to, because then they even forget themselves. Like, you find out that some guys actually spend 80% of what they have on the home, while they actually spend 20% on it. So that's even if they remember to spend something on themselves. These are the kind of pressure I'm talking about. Financial pressure is real for a guy. Easy. How about the emotional pressure? Emotional pressure of when your spouse gets pregnant. It's still on the guy. You now realize that you have two people that are actually pregnant. You mean the husband and then the wife. And then because you know that Omolomo Lili, Omolomo is carrying another Omolomo, which is Omolomo is carrying now your own Omolomo. It's another kind of pressure because now that you're going to be a father. You're responsible for two people, so the addition is there. Another kind of pressure is the one that happens to the ladies. Sometimes we ladies now, we know that as much as we're hungry, unje is the last thing on our mind, especially when we come back from work. But you see, just because you know that you're single, you're not thinking of food, so to say. Sometimes you can even turn it to food, like I'm of food and I'm done. But because you're now married, and God help you, you're married to a guy that loves to eat at home. It's not that he's not sensitive, but some guys just like to eat at home sometimes and all that, some days. And then you have to now think about what she's gonna eat. Kilomaje in itself, is another kind of pressure, because kilomaje in itself is too much work for your brain, especially when you're tired. That's the pressure that comes with it. Then the psychological pressure. What kind of pressure is the pressure where you have adrenaline pumping, when your spouse is on a trip, travels on a trip? You know what they say now? Your treasure, where your heart is, that's where your treasure will be. So your treasure has actually traveled, and we are just with the person. You're with the person on the trip. You're with the person whether he's departing. You're with the person whether on his arrival. The only thing on your mind is with me, Jackie Mopo are okay. That's another pressure entirely. You see, I read somewhere where some men talked about how helpless they get when their wives are not around. maybe they've just gone on a trip, or maybe 3 days or 4 days. The house in itself, let's call it now, it's a home. Now it doesn't even look like a home anymore. It looks like just a house. Why? Because their wife or their spouse, they're not around them. Some spouse can even just drop their wares anyway. But the fact that they are not around you, you're just like, that place is missing. That kind of thing. For some people, they could have troublesome spouses. But even the troublesome spouses, they actually are being missed. Some spouses, you miss them. Like, where is this woman? Where is this man? Not wala in a bad way, but wala in a good way. Like, he's just always giving you some unnecessary troubles. That's another kind of pressure. How about the pressure that comes with giving birth? Now you are married and all that, and then after you get married, you realize that some people, not everybody, just get pregnant almost immediately. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's not okay, but I'm saying that if you're not prepared for it, the Bible says children is the heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. So we know. But what I'm saying is the pressure that comes in, it changes a lot of things. It kind of takes over everything, it just takes over everything. Now the lady has to, kind of arrange how she's going to live her life, how she's going to sleep, how she's going to wake up. Those are another kind of pressure entirely. Pressure is something that we see every day in marriages, and I've just highlighted just very few pressure today. Need I say more? Thank you for listening. This is where I draw the curtains on today's episode of Real Talk with Data podcast. Remember, don't be afraid to love. Don't be afraid to show love. Don't be afraid to receive love. We all deserve to be loved. Don't forget to subscribe, drop a review, and questions are always welcome. Visit my IG at Real Talk with Data for more information on the podcast. I am here, as always, just minding my father's business. Bye for now.